Hello and welcome to the Inner Miami Show. I'm Brandon Griffin, and with me, as always, is my man Mike. What's
How
going
you
on,
doing?
man?
How you doing today, Branton? How's everything going?
Oh,
We're doing the music
everything is
again.
fantastic. We are.
All right, so we should give a heads up to our listeners. We are trying a new streaming service today.
Yeah.
We think this could be a little bit more powerful. We also, if you're watching on YouTube, can already see that we've kind of thrown up some new things here. But there's gonna be some hiccups, as apparently we already started with. So, man, let's start off. Everything's going pretty good. For our listeners, I had hoped we would have recorded last week. I was struck with a nasty virus. I apologize if I cough during the show at all. Finally feeling a little bit better. So we're going to be catching up on a couple things that happened last week and jumping in, kind of kickstarting the week. Let me start with recording this on Monday night. It is Martin Luther King Day. I want to just throw out a huge shout out to Black Herons United. They are the Black supporters group for Inner Miami CF. Both Branton and I are members of the group. You can see us if you're watching YouTube. We are rocking their kit, which is just a fantastic kit. Throw it all out there for those. Come back to Mike. Throw it out there for those on video. And then, we got their scarf as well. So they have a great podcast, the Dreaming of Freedom podcast. If you haven't listened, it is on Apple, Spotify, and everything else. Definitely give them a listen, give them a shout. But yeah, on today's the day that just more so than every day we should recognize them, but I feel like today's the day to just definitely make that call out and really thank them for their support of the club, because I think they bring something to this club that a lot of supporters group don't bring the same way. So
And I think it's something that was sorely missing until they came on the scene as well. And if you haven't had a tailgate out there and had Auntie Mary's punch and the Jamaican beef patties they bring out, like you haven't been to an Inner Miami tailgate until you've done that. So I encourage anybody, if this is the first time you're hearing about Black Herons United, like get out there. Super welcoming community, join, support them, and just hang out, man. It's all about the vibes, right?
I will warn you that Aunt Mary's punch packs a kick. If you're first time tailgating with them, I would say go a little bit light on them. The other thing to warn those Jamaican beef patties have also a kick, and do not wash it down with the punch. Like just separate those two things first, at least on their first tailgate.
Good tip there. Good tip. And speaking of spicy things, let's jump right into our first topic today. And this is something that both of us are probably going to be on the same side of an argument for the first time ever. And that's Messi winning the FIFA best player, men's best player. And there's the voting right there up on your screen. One thing that Mike hadn't noticed when we were talking pregame or pre-show is there's actually a tie in the voting between Messi and Haaland. And what broke the tie is the number of international captains that voted for Messi. Two more voted for him than Haaland, so that's why he won the award. So, Mike, how do you feel about this?
So real quick, before I jump in, I just want to say for our listeners, so Messi officially came first, Haaland second, and then Mbappe third. Messi and Haaland tied at 48 points and Mbappe at 35. I think this is a sham. Frankly, I'm gonna alienate some of our Messi listeners from minute one, but let me just go down this path.
Listeners in Argentina might want to skip.
Yeah, this one. I don't want to be coming a Messi hater, though. There's been a couple Reddit threads that have said that about me. I just think IMCF Traveler said it really well earlier today on Twitter, which he basically said the only way this makes sense is if the the whole period ended the minute the World Cup ended. That it completely discounts the club season. And my point, kind of thinking to him is, all right, if we're going to almost discount the club season, then let's look at the guy on Argentina who at least did something in the club season, and not to discount Messi winning Leagues Cup in MLS, but Julian Alvarez won the treble. And so if you're going to get the most points for winning the World Cup and you maybe get a few points, well, we saw that if Haaland got the same amount of votes for winning the treble, then Julian Alvarez did it both. And let's not pretend he didn't contribute. He scored in World Cup. He scored multiple World Cup goals. He scored goals in multiple tournaments as part of the treble. There's a weird argument here that no one else is going to agree with, but there's a weird argument that he deserved to win this thing. I don't see how Messi wins it. I think I the Ballon d'Or I got behind. It was Messi's, it was the World Cup. Like, give it to him. But I felt this one, I wanted to see almost a little bit more honor in it. I wanted to see a little bit more deserving of it. I just don't think he should have won it. I think this one you give to Haaland for the treble. I don't think you give Mbappe anything this past year, really.
No.
I know I'm dominating the conversation. My bad, Brian, but I just had to get it all out there that it's just silly.
Yeah.
It's just silly to me.
No, and listen, I agree with you. I think I don't think he should have won this. I mean, I forget who it was. It was on Twitter saying that, trying to compare the League's Cup to winning the EPL or something, and I was just like, come on, man, like, have a little.
Fabian said that.
I don't know who it was.
That's who Traveler was arguing with.
Yeah, that's true, and I can tell you after that tweet, I will not be taking that account seriously because, man, is that a bad take? Like, I can't get on board with, and I know you're just using it for argument's sake with Alvarez winning the award, but I think the award should have gone to Haaland. I think he had a spectacular season for a goal scorer last year. Broke several records on his way to the treble, and it should have gone to him. I was surprised a little bit to see Mbappe at third because I didn't think that he really did a whole lot. But I think that just kind of goes to show you that the name recognition is playing a big part in these awards. And, it's cool that we can say we have the FIFA men's best player on the team, but was he the best person for it? I don't think so.
So I looked it up. It was Fabian Renkel who said that, which honestly, he's got good takes and bad takes. I think his coverage last week of the MLS event was fantastic. His argument was, wow, this kind of implies that MLS cups are equivalent to the treble. I actually want to say it's the anti-argument. I think what this more implies is that the rest of the world sees that Messi's retired, and this is his retirement tour. And so I think that almost says bad things about MLS. Like, it's the rest of the world's going, well, he's not really playing anymore, so let's just give him last time he'll ever play, all these awards. And I don't think that's a good thing.
I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens next year. We'll really see next year if MLS or North American tournaments are gaining popularity, because let's say we win CCC, we win the league, and
Messi
I don't know
Copa.
If we're getting back an Open Cup, and then Messi wins Copa, like that's a impressive haul of trophies. But is that enough to take somebody down that maybe wins multiple awards? Like a Haaland or a Salah or somebody like that. I don't know. I don't think so. But they don't ask me to vote.
But they should. First off, you clearly know more. I feel like you can know more than some of these voters. But I think that's an interesting point. Messi wins the Copa and then brings home more trophies next year. Mm-hmm. I don't think he wins, but is he in the top three? And if all of a sudden he drops off, I think it reinforces it kind of backs up my point I just made, that this was seen as a retirement gift. If he's still in contention, maybe there's some truth that winning that MLS Cup actually meant something. I just don't believe it to be true, but maybe there's some evidence to kind of prove it was true.
Yeah, no, I love MLS. Obviously, we're doing an Inter Miami podcast. So yeah, I would love to to say that all our trophies are on par with other people's, but they're really not. Like, let's be real here. Like, I don't know. So we'll see next year. Congrats to Messi. Happy to see that, and happy to see if the club does another paid fan event where we all get to go in and see whatever trophy this is.
I'm assuming now. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the newest Old Boy game. It's not selling well, so maybe this is they're going to add to it, and they're going to make another. Oh, if you come this night, we're going to do an award ceremony around this
They'll
as
change
well.
the name.
Yeah.
What was it? I forget what they did for the Ballon d'Or, but
Something
they'll
Noche.
change the name.
Yeah,
La
there's something,
Noche
but
de D'Or or something.
they'll do something now to kind of pull some more people in. I mean, I can see it.
Yeah.
The night's kind of
Oh,
already about
yeah.
Messi. Why not even go further? Further into it.
Yeah. Well, might as well, right? So now it's time for the man to actually put up the numbers. And what better way to do that than preseason training? The lads are back on the pitch. And I was kind of like, it's the off season. And then I saw these pictures. I'm like, man, I could record right this second.
Man, we didn't get the image. It's too bad. The image that Beckham put up of the big four sitting together at the training facility, and then the same four at Barcelona. Man, that was such an amazing image. But no, like let's preseason training. It's not just about the big four. Obviously, Gressel was there. That's another huge one. Plus, our guys were all there. Every single one of them, which we got to get into because we had
except
four
for
young except for Calendar. We did have four young U22 DPs there, which is a little concerning. We got to cover that. But no, it's super exciting. Team playing, getting out on the pitch again. For some of these guys we're going to talk about that got signed the week prior, they got brought up to IMCF, the big league, and the first day of practice, they're kicking the ball with Messi and Suarez. Like, how cool is that? How exciting is that? I'm ready for the season. Like this, just seeing the pictures off the practice pitch, man, it's good. We're back. The boys are back in town.
I know the first look at Gressel and the Inter Miami kit and Suarez in the training kit, and then Benja with the hair in the wind, and of course Robbie Taylor. Man, I'm ready, man. Let's get in the stadium. Let us in.
So kind of bring out some other roots. So I'm a Florida Gator. I don't know if
that's bold to admit that in public.
I know. I don't know if Washington State does this, but for Florida Gators, the first practice of the basketball season was an open practice, and so it was called midnight. What was it called? Midnight something. And
they do like Midnight Madness.
Midnight Madness.
I know a lot of the like UK, Kentucky, and all them do that.
And so the minute you're allowed to practice, they hold this practice, and I just feel like Inter Miami could have done that. They could have even made a paid event.
Don't
$50
give
to
them
get
ideas.
in. But just come see the boys practice on the field the first time they can all practice together. And that would have been a blast. It would have been a hit. Super excited for this.
Yeah, it would have been cool. I mean, my highlight was like seeing the tweets they put out with just Suarez and seeing him like come out onto the pitch and just, man, and then seeing Beckham's tweet that you put out, which he totally stole our title for this episode.
We had this beforehand, for the record. Like, it wasn't.
I had this ready to go. As soon as preseason opened, I put it there. It's not super original though, so but it started to sink in, just the caliber of players that we're bringing in. And I know there's a lot of hate out there about like, oh, we're just bringing in these old guys and they're taking up roster space and they're past their prime and whatnot. But we just have to, like, as a fan, like, we're on this ride. Like, we chose to support this team and we knew there was going to be big ambitions. And seeing those four guys just like ready to go and practicing together and like in our uniform and stuff, that was freaking awesome. Like, I don't care how old they are. I loved every second of seeing them like that.
There's a lot said about the ownership of this team, and it's very much you love them or hate them. But Jorge and David from day one said, we're going to bring you the best in the world. And you look at those four on the pitch together, and you can't argue they brought us the best in the world. Are they in their prime now? No. But are they retired? No. They're going to play.
Yeah.
And it's hard to maybe those aren't the best four in MLS, but I bet you they're the best four in the top 8 in MLS. I'm not even sure, who those other four are, but like they are as good as we're probably getting in this league in the
Yeah.
next few years. And they're all on one team. They're going to play multiple games together. Don't know how
Yeah.
many, but they're going to play multiple games together. I am legit excited.
Oh
I
yeah.
just, we've said it before. We talked about the New Jersey coming up. I've got basically already written down. I need the Suarez kit in the new pink jersey,
Mm-hmm.
which we did get some new images of too. So I think we're planning to show those off. If not, we'll find a way to get them shown off because
Yeah.
they were leaked again last week. So we'll show them one way or another. I'm gonna make it. Just remember that right now. Brandon's gonna do a quick search and find it.
Yeah,
But
I'll
yeah,
find it
no,
right
I
now.
just think it's exciting. It's exciting. Obviously, we didn't get much out of it. There are some things from the press conference that I think are worth mentioning. Uh, there's more movement on the way. We're gonna get some transfer updates. We
Yeah.
know more movements coming. Tata has not committed to a specific formation yet. He's basically said, "I'm going to play a 3-5-2. I'm going to play a 4-4-2." It doesn't sound like he's going to commit to anything. I think he's kind of just a little bit talking to cover up what he wants to do. Which I think some of the other things he said. Obviously, we should have written this down. I realized we didn't.
I mean,
He's
to be honest, I didn't take a lot out of Tata, what he said. The only thing I took out of it really was the change in formation, that he's going to try and keep things flexible. But that's it. Like, I at this point in the preseason, like, these guys haven't even practiced together for a week yet, and he can't know how he's going to deploy Suarez, or how Suarez is going to play, or how everything's going to mesh. And we still have, and we'll talk about it. Like, I'm expecting 3 to 5 players still to leave, and I'd expect at least, maybe a couple more additions. Hopefully, like 3. I'd like to see 2 center backs. We'll see.
I think 100. I think 100% we're seeing new center back, but I think the news we're gonna cover is gonna might change that a bit. I do want to say I think Busquets said that basically someone asked him, implied how seriously are they taking it, or do you guys expect to win? And Busquets laid it down that he knows
Yeah.
how good they are, but they haven't won a single match. Like, he's coming to play, and I think it's reminding everyone that at least Busquets isn't here to retire quite yet. He's here to win. Which was good.
Yeah.
There was a fire in his answer. He wants to win. I don't know if it's worth. We can say Busquets speaks for the 4, but if he wants to win, probably it's the mentality that they're all sharing.
I would think it's probably pretty safe to say that, like, maybe he doesn't speak for the 4, but he definitely, like, they're on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question about that. And they, I think Suarez's press conference too just showed, like, the professionalism that he has, and, like, just there's still drive to win trophies there, and there's still drive to win from all of them. And I expect us to win some trophies this year for sure. Otherwise, I think they're all going to feel like they failed, just because that's who they are.
I think this. I don't think we've only in episode 3, so there's not a lot we haven't said yet. But I think what we haven't said is if they don't win trophies, it will be a blemish. Like, it will be a little bit of an asterisk.
Yeah.
Oh, they went to Inter Miami and didn't accomplish anything.
But let's not put that into the universe right now. It's
just preseason,
saying, man.
I think to your point though, I think they came here to win. They did not come here to just hang around. And again, this isn't their last season either. I know maybe Suarez is, because I think he had a 1-on-1, but Messi's here for at least one more year after this. I think Alba and Busquets are too. So they're here to win. And I feel it. I feel it right now.
Suarez coming back. Like,
I think he will too.
We'll see. Like, I think a lot was made out of his knees, and I think he did some of that to try and get out of his contract in Brazil to get here in the summer when Messi made his decision. I 100% believe that he does not have great knees. Like, I'm not saying like he's lying about the whole thing, but I think some of the claims have probably been exaggerated a bit, just to try and get him here. But we'll see. So far, I think in preseason, the only injury is Robbie Robinson.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Shocked. I'm shocked he lasted this long.
I hate to make fun of the guy because I actually like him a lot. I
love him when he's on the field.
He's
a great attacker.
He's not only a great attacker. We've watched him mature. Like, if you look at him 3 years ago, he would take that ball and dribble right into the box and have the ball stolen. If
or
we
fall
saw
over the ball.
but last year when he was healthy, he was
Yeah.
passing the ball. He was making
And
moves.
he's very clearly a guy that Tata likes.
Yeah, I like him
Yeah.
too. I want him to be successful. I
Yeah.
have my favorite, my first signed jersey was a Robinson jersey. Like, I've always liked the guy. He was our
Yeah.
first draft pick. I want him to be successful. We're gonna laugh when he gets injured because we kind of expect it, but we're not laughing at him as much as kind of with him.
I don't
It's
think he's laughing.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to.
But the good
I
news
bet at
is
this point when he gets injured,
it's a small thing. He'll
I
be
bet when
back pretty quickly.
I will argue that I bet when he gets injured, he kind of at this point laughs like fucking A, it happened again. Like,
Mm,
hey, you said I can curse, by the way. Remember.
I did, but I don't think he says that at all.
But no, I hope it's speedy
Robbie, if you're
recovery.
listening and you want to join us and tell us,
Yeah.
feel free. We're here.
I hope for the best for him. I want a speedy
Yeah.
recovery. I think he's our number 2 striker. And so I want him back on the pitch. No one's going
Oh,
to agree
Mike.
with that. I might get hopefully my Twitter handle's up there now, so I can get personalized hate mail from many of our readers or viewers. For our listeners, it's at @MLongan, at MLONGIN. I don't remember how to spell my name. On Twitter, if you want to argue with me that Campana is really our second striker, but I am not convinced of it. And frankly, I'll be much more excited with when Suarez subs out to see Robinson come in than
Oh
to see
God.
Campana come in. I'm
Mike.
laying it down. I'm just laying it down.
Listen, for those of you guys who don't know us at this point, Mike and I have had several very public arguments about Leo Campana and how I believe that he can be a good striker, and Mike thinks he's the worst
Not the
striker
worst.
ever.
That's not true. The
That's what
worst
you
is
said.
I don't think he is the striker we're paying for. I don't think he's a $2.1 million striker that should be taking up a DP slot or even a super high TAM slot, depending on how we're going to buy him down. I think we thought he could be. I think 2 years ago when oh my God, who was our number 9?
Carranza, Higuain.
No, Higuain. When Higuain goes down and Campana steps in and has that 5-6 game run where he was fantastic, everyone thought the world of him. And then he petered out. And I know there's some metrics last year that if you look at goals per minutes played, he was actually in like the top 10 of the league, maybe even a little higher. So there's some proof to show he can do it. But I'm
Mike
not.
doesn't believe any of that proof.
No. Given the more minutes he plays, I think the worse he does. And I think on small, limited sample sets, he plays great, but he can't do it. And I am not forgetting we almost lost the League's Cup because of him. He had the striker's moment, the moment every striker lives for, which is to win a cup final in extra time. And he missed. He absolutely missed. I haven't forgiven that. That's the goal that you're telling me Suarez misses that goal? No. Even Robbie, I think, would have scored that goal, but Campana at $2.1 million missed. Oh, sorry.
Well,
not over it.
Moving on after that terrible take. I hope you guys are still listening after that nonsense. We kind of touched on it already, but let's jump into our latest transfer rumors. A lot of them coming in fast and heavy, mostly outgoing things. We talked about him a little bit last week, in the show, and that's Christian Medina. Again, 21-year-old center mid who can also play on the right side from Boca. He's U23 Argentina international. He's currently on the Olympic qualifying team. I believe they're playing. I think they're playing this week. He plays for Boca, so obviously he's won a lot of trophies with them. He won the U17 South American Championship in 2019 with Argentina. Last year, 22-23 season, he had 49 appearances, 33 starts, 16 subs, 5 goals, 4 assists in just under 3,200 minutes played We're not the only team in for him. Nottingham Forest in the EPL has had some interest. I have not seen where they've submitted an offer, but Botafogo in Brazil has submitted an offer. I don't think it's been accepted. I think we've pretty much I think we put in an acceptable offer, and in my mind, I think unless he chooses to pursue like somewhere in Europe or something like that, I kind of expect him to be an Inter Miami player at some point, very shortly. What do you think about Mr. Medina?
I agree with you. I think he's coming. I think there's a lot of smoke just fire. And frankly, the last time we had one of these conversations, 12 hours after we released, the guy was on the team.
Yeah,
Gressel joined us. I think this is definitely another one we're going to seek fill out. I think the interesting thing here is a couple fold. First off, I think this solidifies that Gressel was brought in as right wing back. There's been a lot of conversation that Gressel's really a center midfielder.
he's
But
not playing in
seeing,
the midfield. That's
but throughout seeing that
I
Medina
know
is being
there's a lot of
discussed,
conversation, but yeah,
but seeing that Medina is being discussed means we're looking at an RCM, and frankly, we have too many almost at this point. So I think
I
this does a
think
couple
that seals
things.
Gregory.
I think Gregory seals. Um, I think this puts Gomez in an interesting space, and we'll cover that in just once we get done with Medina. I want to talk about
Yeah,
that we have 4 U22s now. I think it puts Gomez in an interesting space. I think it does a couple things. So I think it's real. I think this is going to be very exciting. I think getting young Argentinians to the team is one of those things that isn't too like when we talked about bringing Messi on. It's one of those benefits we didn't really talk a lot about, specifically around getting young Argentinians, because here's a place where if you're a young Argentinian that want to play on Copa tournaments and for World Cup tournaments, time playing next to Messi is going to be super beneficial, right? You're going to get extra viewership. The coaches are going to watch your games. It's really beneficial to you as a player. And so I think for a guy like Medina, it can be seen. So this is a real benefit
well,
to
I
him.
think that's a good benefit, but I think who probably paved the way more than Messi is guys like Almeida in Atlanta, because like they've seen that he can come to the league. He got a shot on the World Cup team. Like he's developed, and like he's someone who will probably move on before the season starts.
Well, they said that about Almeida for a year and a half now, and I love Almeida. He's one of my favorite
Yeah,
players in the league, but I think there's a real difference when you're a young Argentinian can play with Messi. Because again,
yeah,
the
but I
coaches are
think
going to watch you play. They have to because they're
yeah,
going to watch Messi play.
right. And I agree with you. I'm not saying that that's not a factor, but I also think like, some of the younger like South American players that have come in here and done it before, kind of show that the league
Yeah.
can develop you, and then it doesn't hurt to have the eyes of the world on you while you're playing next to Messi.
You also have Copa in America this year too, which helps. So
Hmm.
I don't see a lot of reasons why it won't happen. The only one maybe is I've read some differing reports about the buyout clause and just how much it is, and that Boca may really is looking for certain amounts. So there could be that. Like we might get priced out,
Hmm.
but sooner or later, like the pockets are big enough. So
Yeah,
I think this is real. I think it's exciting. But I do think it has a huge impact on the team when it comes to spots. There's only 11 roster spots to start.
yeah.
And I know we have to be deeper. We're going to have multiple cups we're playing in. But for the big games, those top 11 spots are very competitive right now.
Well, yeah, and I think you kind of mentioned it, and we can jump into it now. Is the U22 situation? For those of you who don't know or learning MLS rules, or those of you like me that have been struggling to learn MLS rules for years, those that don't know, there's a designation called the U22. It's for young players, obviously under the age of 22, who would normally take up like a DP spot or a designated player spot to come into the league, and not take up that designation and free that up to more senior players. And this year, MLS has opened all those U22 spots. You no longer have to have like a young DP or a combination of, three DPs that were certain ages or whatever to have those spots. So every team gets 3 spots, and we have 4 players in those spots. So someone's got to go.
Yeah. And how we got here was we had Emerson as a U22 last year. We
Hmm.
loaned him out and then brought in Gomez, Toto, and Ferraris. And so the expectation was Emerson wasn't going to come back. Emerson's back. And now we've got a wing, a striker, a defender, and a midfielder that are sitting in these spots.
Yep.
I can say, in my opinion, none of the 4 U22 DPs have ever shown themselves to be everything we've wanted them to be. I think
Well, I think 3 of them have had a very small sample size.
no, it's I'm criticizing, but I'm not trying to be definitive on it. I'm just saying, okay,
Yeah.
based on sample size, like Toto, actually Toto, I think has been my favorite, though he's had some rough moments. Uh,
Various has been mine.
Yeah, I think he's played really well. I think the one we've all struggled with is Gomez. I remember his first outing. I think he got a yellow card in like 5 minutes of his first outing.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of faith in Gomez. I don't think he's the change of pace player we want. So I know everyone's expecting Emerson
Well,
to be shipped. I'm going to make an argument that Gomez isn't exactly safe either. Emerson's what's probably going to happen to Emerson is something that looks a lot like Pizarro, where there's a mutual deal where we just cut his contract and it doesn't cost us anything. Someone else gets him. A mutual parting of ways. If you can see my fingers, for those who aren't watching, I made those air quotes for like we did for Pizarro. I could see that, but I'm also going to make an argument that if Tata's looking at his field and say, okay, Emerson does provide that change of pace, it can open up the field vertically very quickly. That if I'm in a situation where I have a high line playing against me, I can really expose them very quickly. And I've got a guy like Busquets who can accurately drop a ball right in front of Emerson on a move. I might want an Emerson. What is Gomez bringing to me,
yeah.
especially kind of circling back if we bring in
If we're
Medina?
getting Medina. Yeah. I kind of, as you're talking, like I'm thinking about it, and it's like it might make sense to see Gomez loaned out or something like that. Do I think we'll see that? Probably not, because Tata wanted him, just like you wanted Farias and Toto. So I think we probably see those 3 stay, and something's got to happen with Emerson. Either he's loaned out again, bought out. I don't think we can buy him down because of the transfer fee that was associated with him coming to the team. So we're probably stuck with that part of it, but at least his salary. But
Yeah,
and
it's
and
unfortunate.
I was never a big Emerson fan. He always tried to get a little too cute with the ball, in my opinion. But you can see there's potential there. Like, he's not a bad player.
Emerson
I
still
don't know. It
has what
wasn't
I
for me.
call the worst goal of IMCF history. I think it was one he
Oh
took
God,
three
yeah.
different shots to get the ball in. Um, he he's he's another person we did dirty. We did not. We brought him in. He didn't get the playing time he needed. He didn't get the development time he needed. He looks a lot like
Like a
Pellegrini.
Carranza.
I was gonna say Pellegrini. I think who
Mm.
also we did really dirty. Carranza. Carranza, I think, is a different type of doing dirty because I think Carranza got broken a
That was
lot
a
because of
Higuain doing dirty.
that was a Higuain specifically did him dirty.
Yeah,
But we did not help Emerson out. And
no.
so I'm hoping that however we if we part ways with him, we do so in a way that's beneficial to him, which is kind of what we did
Yeah,
with Pellegrini. We give him the real chance to leave. But
yeah. And then he
for
took
our
out Gregory.
listeners, yeah, I think that's how he repaid us.
Yeah,
For our listeners, when we talk about upcoming transfers, we can guarantee that one of these 4 is moving. Just the
yeah,
specific MLS rules require one of these 4 to go.
yeah.
So we'll just have
Whether
to
it
see
be
who it
like
is.
a loan or something, like they just won't be on the team next year.
Yeah.
But
They won't be on
speaking
the
of
team
somebody,
in 35 days. They're not going to be on the team.
oh yeah, roster compliance day. Speaking of somebody who probably won't be on the team anymore, and I think it's a shame. We got to talk about Harvey Neville. Um, I think Mike has the scoop on him.
Yeah, we're hearing pretty definitively. We it's not on paper. It's not really been reported yet, but pretty definitively he's going to Portland to
Yeah.
reunite with the gaffer, which is her dad. Uh, I think what people are going to say is this is even more nepotism. I
I think in this
disagree.
case they're right.
Well, I agree that probably nepotism is kind of helping him go to a certain spot. I still think he deserved every shot to be on our team last year. I think he
Yeah.
was the best backup right back we had.
And I think he deserved a shot this year.
Yeah,
I think he could be the guy who would back up Gressel, and we could move on Yedlin if that was a choice.
You
But
took the words
because a
right out of my
certain
mouth.
section of this fan base decides that because he was the former manager's son, like, oh, it's nepotism or whatever. But the kid's got talent. Is he going to be a world beater? No.
He's not
No.
only got talent,
He's a
he's cheap.
serviceable backup.
Yeah, but he's cheap, right? He's making league minimum. And you know, when you compare him to Yedlin, who makes 10 times his salary, and I'm not exaggerating. I think it's it's league minimum
It's pretty close
67.
to that.
It's league minimum 67, and I think Yedlin's making 650. So pretty close to 10
like
times
that.
his salary. We don't have 10 times the right back here. So I think with Harvey moving and now kind of stuck with Yedlin, unless something else happens in the right back front, I think this is a shame. I get why it's happening. I think it's the right situation. I think Harvey will never be forgotten as the nepotism kid here, even though I don't think it was deserved. Yes, was he on the team because his dad? Did he get to IMCF too because of his dad? Hands down. There's no question we did.
But I think he earned his spot on the first team.
I do as well. Frankly, maybe there wasn't another right back who was ready to step up, but Harvey wasn't overwhelmingly embarrassed. He was a serviceable backup right back in MLS. And I think he could have kept on playing that. But he's going to Portland. He's going to reunite with his dad. I hope for good things for him.
I personally, I would like good things for him, but I wish he would go someplace that his dad wasn't. Anywhere else in MLS or anything like that, just so that he could get out from under his shadow, because the same thing's going to happen in Portland is my fear. Like, granted, that fan base is a little bit more toned down than ours can be at times, but I don't think he's doing himself any favors by following his dad.
I'll make an argument that Portland weather is a better preparation for England, and he does another year. He does one more year in Portland, and then he finally ends up in a championship league. Come on,
I think if he wanted to do that,
rainy.
I think if he wanted to do that, he could have taken the Romeo Beckham route and ended up playing for somebody's B side or whatever.
There's a reason why that's not happening, right? Like, soccer's a business.
Yeah, he's not a championship level player,
and that's what
he's got to do. He will be.
I think he will.
No,
I mean Rex. I'm sure he can go play if he wants to go play for Wrexham.
Yeah, but Wrexham's not a championship level team.
Well, now I know, but now I'm just throwing out another name there. But if he wants to,
hang out with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, go out there, get a bunch of FaceTime. So
he'd probably make more money there than he makes here.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Phil can make a call to make that happen. David can make a call.
He could go play. What's the Salford City or whatever that they own?
Yeah,
he can go play there.
And
I don't know.
Fair,
anyway,
Wrexham's going to be League One next year.
If they win promotion.
Yeah, but they're in top 2 right now. So and the top 3 gets promoted. So they're in a good spot.
There's a lot of season left to play.
I know. I'm just making all sorts
of fans.
I'm making all sorts of takes right now. So we're gonna turn this into a giant parlay, and I'm gonna make a lot. We're gonna bet 20 cents on this and make $900 million.
Let's do it. Speaking of a bet that didn't pay off.
Yeah. So Stefanelli, there's a lot of smoke right now that he is heading to Everton. And when I say Everton, I do not mean the UK Everton
club in England,
who's going to somehow avoid relegation again this year, but it's going to be close once again.
I don't know what that. I mean, we're not an EPL podcast, so
but I think they're sitting. I think they're sitting at 4th right now. 4th
they
from
are,
the bottom.
But then apparently there's the point deduction that's coming out, and they're going to punish Everton and who else was it? Sheffield United or no, Nottingham Forest. They're going to punish those 2 teams, while Man City, who has 10 times the amount of problems, they're good.
Yeah, no,
it's all right.
Winning. Listen, we saw it in MLS. When Inter Miami, we'll call it out. When we got punished is when we lost. But when LAFC makes that Gareth Bale deal, which they didn't fall through on and should have turned into a punishment this year, nothing happens. So winners get away with it and losers don't. But you just said it. We're not an EPL podcast. We're not looking to branch out just yet. But so he's heading to the Chilean Everton. It looks like it's going to be a loan deal. Not a lot is known beyond kind of what we're
I
writing as a
saw an
rumor right
option to
now.
buy, right?
Well,
I
don't
think.
most loans have most loans?
Mm-mm.
Don't they have options to buy?
No.
Oh,
If you're sending a player out for development and you want him back, you don't put in a buy option.
yeah, but this isn't a development loan. This is we don't really want you anymore loan. But yeah, fair. If it's a development loan, it's different. But most when we don't want you loans have options to buy. I agree. This did not pan out. Remember this time was, I mean, back in the day, brought him over. This is the next Argentinian 10. We didn't get the first one we wanted, but we got this one.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot to say here.
Yeah, I don't think his time here worked out the way he wanted it to or the way we wanted it to. He was injured for a good portion of his time here. I will say we did see flashes. We did see some good moments from him. He's not a bad player. Hopefully he can find success in Everton and at Chile, and wish him the best. But with all the international players we're bringing in, some international players have to go, and unfortunately, he hasn't produced, and he's got to go.
Which I will call out. So he is a striker, and so now he's on the way out, but Emerson's back. Is that a coincidence? It might be. I'm not going to just take these two facts and say they are linked, but there could be. This is going back to my thinking of Emerson might not be gone. With Stefanelli out, we just replaced him already. So
there could be a way to buy down Emerson's contract. I don't know. And I won't pretend to be the expert that Henderson is when it comes to those type of moves. But if he can buy him down, like, why not?
Yeah,
give the guy a shot. We're thin on the wings. We could use him.
So let's get into the next two names, which I think this is super exciting.
This is the best part.
We got two of our homegrown players. One's a former Weston FC player. They've been signed first team deals. So Tyler Hall and Izzy Boatwright both got signed last week. And this goes back to, by the way, we wanted to do a show last week, but unfortunately I was feeling under the weather. So we couldn't do it. So we're a little bit late, but super exciting. These guys both got first team deals. Let's start with Tyler Hall. Tyler Hall's center back. He's 17 years old. The contract runs through 2027. He's a former Weston FC. IMCF 2, he had 22 appearances. He was an MLS Next All-Star and also has 13 appearances with the U.S. men's national team under 17. I think this is huge. Huge. We got a young center back that we're going to be bringing. We've signed him to our first team deal already. I expect him to play. I expect him to play major minutes before the season's over. I don't think he's starting, at least to start and possibly the entire season. But I think we'll see him play quite a bit, and I think he's going to make a major impact on the pitch.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm obviously excited for him. Anytime we sign homegrown players, like that's just amazing in my opinion. Like, these are local guys that we can get out there and support and get behind, and he's been successful in Inter Miami too. But I don't expect him to play heavy minutes. I would say he probably plays in some of the cup ties and some of those midweek games that come after CCC or something like that. He'll get some minutes. But the club's kind of even though we're thin at center back, I think there's other guys that have some experience that probably get minutes ahead of him. But I think I don't think he stays like buried on the depth chart. Like, he'll get minutes when he can, and I think it's a name that we'll be talking about as a starting center back at some point, because clearly we're not like going out there and spending big money on center backs. We're going to try and develop them, and if a guy like Tyler Hall and Ian Frey and guys like that can get healthy and stay healthy and form a young backbone to the team, like, why not? Like, that's awesome.
So I will add, reason for me being so like high on seeing him. We're not going to get into lineups today. We're going to cover lineups in our next show because we'll cover it as part of kind of our prep for the El Salvador game, which Weirdly, kind of conspiracy theory.
No one
There's
knows.
no one knows about it. If you go to ESPN, it's not listed. If you go to intermiamicf.com, there is no El Salvador game listed on our schedule. Maybe they read from the same data, maybe they don't, but there's no details on it. There was a tweet earlier today showing the bus that supposedly Inter Miami is going to use in El Salvador. So nothing, we don't know anything about it. So kind of just, it's very weird, very strange. But kind of getting back to it. So I'm expecting us to play a 3-5-2, which means we need 3 center backs for the majority of games. There will be rotation, but I think we'll see 3 center backs. We're extremely light there. You mentioned Ian Frey. Ian Frey is not ready to start yet, from what I'm hearing. He's not ready to play yet.
I didn't mention Ian Frey like thinking he was going to play major minutes this year, but
he'll play major minutes this year, I believe. I think he'll be a starter by.
I think they'll manage him.
I think by May or June he'll be our starter, but he's not there yet. So I do think we're going to have people like Tyler Hall called in fairly early. I'm not going to give my startup lineup yet, and I don't have him in my lineup right away, but I'm just kind of calling out if you need 3 center backs, and we just shipped Kamal Miller, so we're even lighter. And Sergey, I don't think is fast enough for what Tata wants to do. I think we're seeing Tyler Hall pretty quickly.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I hope for his sake he gets some time on the bench and a lot of time in practice to learn from guys. Because I think it's hard to throw a 17-year-old at the back line, especially with this star-studded team, and expect him to hold up all season. But we'll see.
And then jumping in, Izzy Boatwright, right back. So these signings now are 2 use of the backs, and I think Izzy Boatwright, so he's 18, Dominican Republic. He started for both their youth and their senior teams. I think we got kind of bring this over to the Harvey Neville conversation of we don't have a young backup right back. We are going to be counting on Yedlin, it looks like, but it seems like Izzy's the number 3. He's going to come in. He'll be on the bench. He's ready to step in if needed. And from all accounts, we some of the people we've talked to that follow IMCF too heavily, very deserving of this. He's going to step in and be able to, pretty quickly grow up into the first team.
Yeah, and I think some of the people we talked to even thought he had more upside than Tyler Hall. So that's interesting to see. Hopefully that pans out. But yeah, I think he's like a third back, which is nice to see that we have that depth, because we had Yedlin and that was it last year, really, because certain people refused to play Harvey Neville.
Well, it's interesting right now because we're 3 deep at both right and left back, right? So left back.
Yeah, and I think we stay that way because we haven't heard any rumors about Yedlin at this point, and or Negri.
Yeah. So
which I'm fine with. I thought Negri played really well before he got injured.
I agree too. Actually, I think, we'll get into this more next week. I actually think we'll see Noah Allen move to left center back quite a bit next year. Yeah. So I do think there's room for these. And, I don't know a ton about Izzy. I know he's pretty tall, so I wouldn't be surprised if he can probably play right center back in a 3-5-2, a little bit too. So
that would be
speculating there. I'm speculating there. It's complete speculation. Again, don't know much about him, but just based on his profile and kind of what we've seen Tata do, which is take the left and right back and kind of move him into, because Yedlin had to play RCB multiple games last year. You saw, especially kind of late in the game, they bring in another back.
Yeah, but he was more like free roaming.
But he'd still
they let him jump into the attack formation quite a bit, though. Yeah,
but in the tactical formation, he lined up as a right center back. It looked weird too. Yeah. I was never comfortable with him in a right center back position.
Well, it didn't help that whoever does the graphics for lineups for Inter Miami, hopefully you're ready this year, because God, you confuse the hell out of a lot of people.
Yeah, but that's intentional. That was I don't know if that was a Phil thing or who was coming up with the idea of it, but it was clearly intent. They were having fun with it. At some games, they were like clearly, like there was a center back one time centered up as a center midfielder. Like it didn't make any sense.
I don't know. That tells me somebody wasn't watching the interns, but. And then, before we wrap up today's show, let's hop into our favorite topic. We've hit it on every episode, and I'm hoping we don't have to talk about it the next episode. But We did have some news on this front. So Mike mentioned it earlier, and let me pull up the picture here so that you guys can see. There we go. There we go. If you guys follow us on Twitter,
there you go. That's what I want to make sure we said.
We got this photo. I shouldn't say we. Mike got this photo from someone and was able to share it with us, and we shared it with you guys.
So this is the time we say it. If you're not following us on YouTube, you're not following us on Twitter already, you need to like, you need to subscribe, you need to hit that button, you need to be following us, because we did get this last week. From what we understand, there was a big MLS show. This jersey was in a display booth. It looks pretty legit. I actually, when we created the tweet, we called it a replica because it didn't seem like it had some of the embossing, but it's pretty clear if you zoom in. This is the authentic jersey. So I think it's really hard to deny at this point that this is our jersey. What is interesting, by the way,
one thing we did hear back was that there is a possibility that while this is the exact design, that this may not be the final jersey, because there are these demo jerseys out in the world that they use for photo shoots and events like this that maybe don't have the final touches. But if you were hoping, like I was, that we were getting away from the stacked logos or any of the other leaks, we're not it, sorry, not happening.
Me and Don Cavacito, I don't know if he's one of our followers, we are over the moon on this one. This looks great. I do want to call out two things from this display. First off, it looks like there's pink shorts at the bottom. Some had hoped that we'd do a pink top with black bottoms. Does not look like it's happening this year. It looks like full pink. The other is this hoodie that's to the right of it. There was, now I'm asking another shot in the fly. I don't think we're going to find it. This hoodie there's a new hoodie coming out that looks fantastic. It's a zip hoodie, but it's also got a zipper over the underneath the pocket up by the chest. It looks like a really great hoodie this year. Clearly multiple teams have versions of this, so it looks like an MLS generic hoodie with the Miami logo on it. I've already talked to a couple people that are like, hey, have you found where to buy it yet? Because it's the number one thing we want to buy behind the jersey. Or to those who hate the jersey, it's like, no, this is just the number one thing I want to buy. But it looks great too. So a lot of interesting tidbits in this. But again, if you have been following us on Twitter, you would have seen this last week. We did get it out there, and we're pretty excited about it. A couple other things just to call out. Obviously, Royal Caribbean looks like a done deal. If it's going to show up in this, where it's a real jersey, the mock jersey, it looks real. So, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we kind of also have to talk about the possible third jersey again. So this mock-up was another mock-up, obviously. If you're not watching, this is shared by Footy Headlines. You can go on there. They've got all the leaks. And so this is a concept design that obviously computer generated. Miami Dolphins colors, orange and teal, but these are more of a pastel. They're more toned down. They're not as bold. What do you think, Mike?
So, when I first saw it, I'm like, man, that's exactly what I wanted. And now, given time, it's not exactly what I want. But let me call out what I love and then kind of call out what I don't love. First off, for those who haven't seen it yet, the Miami is using that kind of Miami Vice, Miami written out.
Yeah.
Love it. That, totally about. Also on the sleeves, at the cuffing at the sleeves, we got a different color. I love that. And then it's a plain boring. Yeah, then it's a plain boring kit though. Then it's just there's nothing else. I expect there to be something else. I've been told by multiple people they've worked for years on this kit. They're excited about this kit. They expect it to be something special and memorable. I don't think the kit we have on the screen right now meets that criteria.
Mm-mm.
And if this is the kit, I'm gonna have to apologize to a few people because I just implied something. But they've sold this to me as something that this is their life's ambition realized. And I think we're going to see more. I don't think it's as crazy as the kit we showed last week.
No.
But I think there's design elements probably from both of them that we're going to see.
Yeah. And so I think to me, this looks like stage one in the design process. Like, this is the colors we're going for, and then let's move on and add detail. And like, this is probably very early on in the concept process. And I would love to see something like this with a little more detail. I would hope that we would get that badge that we saw on that last kit, where the teal and the orange and the white was more incorporated into the badge. It wasn't just orange and white like this one is. And I don't like the white 3 stripes on the shoulders. I would hope we would go with a different color there. Because
So
you
it's
can kind of
funny.
see it.
It's funny. I actually didn't notice those white streak stripes. I thought that was like a computer
Yeah,
generated, not a glare, but a reflection. I see them
yeah,
now. I agree. I don't like them. It is interesting what you said about the first draft. So my understanding, a lot of these jersey designs. So Adidas we don't design the jerseys, for the record. Like, it's not like we have an in-house jersey designer. When I say I mean Inter Miami. Uh, Adidas does the design, and we give them the information. And so I could very much see this being the first draft of, we told them we want a Miami Vice kit. We want it inspired by Dolphins. Adidas says, okay, here, we designed it for you. And then we'd say, okay, yes, we liked ABC. We didn't like this. Like, this could be that first pass, because Adidas is very conservative in designs. Like, you really have to push
yeah,
them to get like a crazy design. So I absolutely could see, like, that statement to me rings really true. And if you're telling me Footy Headlines got a copy of a first draft, also wouldn't surprise me. So I think like, to me, that's a fairly like plausible scenario. Uh,
yeah,
because I don't think this is the final version. But if you're telling me that this was Adidas's first attempt at building this first, I absolutely could believe that statement.
yeah. And that's what it looks like to me. Is it looks like a first draft. And if that's what we started with, I can't wait to see what comes at the end,
Oh,
because
it's
it's going
gonna
to
look
be
great.
good.
No, it's gonna look great, and I'm super excited. I'm going to. I'm already at 3, so I'm gonna have 2 of the pink jerseys, at least one of those.
Jesus.
Uh, I'll have to buy at least 2 of the warm-ups, the kits this year, because I always buy the love one, and I always buy one of the armed forces ones. So so far I'm at 6 jerseys for the year. 5 jerseys. 5 jerseys. Last year
Whew.
I think I bought 10 jerseys, because I ended up with 6 of the heartbeats, 1 La Noche, and 3 warm-ups.
Mm.
So far I'm
Yeah, I
tracking to
don't
buy
count
less.
I don't count the warm ups as kits because they don't cost
There's
the same.
They still cost $70 or $60. Like, I'm
Yeah,
counting
you
them as a
just wait a
jersey.
couple weeks.
Okay, then you get them for $50. It's not like we used to be able to get them for
Yeah.
$10 anymore when Fanatics,
No,
had those
oh,
crazy
that was the
sales.
best. Yeah, now we're having to pay full price. But yeah, I will be buying the third kit. I'm still on the fence about the pink
The
one.
minute the minute Suarez walks out in that new pink kit, you're gonna walk straight to the team store and buy one. Like, you're just gonna walk out of your seats in the stands, go buy one, put it on, and go back to the seats in the stands. Just don't deny that's happening.
Oh, Jesus. I hate that you're probably right. I really do, because
I
if
will be
Suarez is gonna
there.
wear it, I'll probably buy it.
I will tell you
Um,
this now. The day the kit's released, I'll be there that morning at the team store buying a Suarez kit and a
look,
Longin kit.
yeah, I'll
It's
probably. You know what? We'll do it. I'll get my B Griff kit, because I think that pink would actually match the kilt that I wear on game days.
it's all coming together. It's all part of the
Uh,
plan.
it is. It is. But on that note, thank you guys for listening. We're gonna wrap it up tonight. Hopefully we'll be back before the El Salvador game, and we can kind of give you our projected lineups and what we think's gonna happen. If the game exists, could it be a glitch in the matrix? We'll see.
I do think the game's gonna happen. So just a couple things on that. So definitely want to give a show before then. I'll be gone for the weekend, so we'll not have another show. If we don't do it before the weekend, we will not have a show until Tuesday morning at the earliest next week. So we definitely want something ahead of that one. Uh, but yeah, no, super glad we got stuck today. Super glad I'm healthy again, because this was horrible.
Yeah.
I know it's going for anyone who has it. It's going around. Nasty, nasty, nasty cough, fever. It was not fun. I do not wish it on anyone. But yeah, no, super excited for the season's here. Like, we are, as
Yeah.
we're sitting here recording Monday night, there is going to be an Inter Miami game, most likely this week.
Yeah. And we've
Again,
got lads and kits. It's happening. So again, thank you guys for listening for episode 3. We made it through 3 of them. Like and subscribe on YouTube. That's the best way to in my opinion, that's the best way to listen to the show, because we like to do a lot of visual aids and things like that, and plus you get to see our beautiful faces.
Yeah, we're not just a podcast. The visual is a huge
Yeah,
part of it.
there's going to be
Frankly,
more exciting things with the videos.
yeah, and so far we only had one big issue with our new streaming, so this is one more step closer to going
Big
live.
issue. That was not a big issue.
No, I said we only had. I didn't call it a big issue. I said we had one issue, but we're one step
But
closer to going live, which is what we
yeah,
really want to do. Uh, Spoiler alert: we already are hearing we might have to be able to get some help doing live shows from the parking lot. I'm going to keep on teasing this because I really want this to happen. Not game one, but I really want this to happen.
yeah,
My
that
wife also
Wednesday
wants
night
this.
will be tough.
My
But yeah,
wife also wants this to happen because she says that
I
I will
think
drink quite a bit less at the games if that happens, because I'll have to be
mm,
recording. So, and my son wants this to happen because he thinks he's going to get on the show too. So, yeah, I'm going to keep on pushing it out there. We will do
yeah,
some one way or another. We're doing a live show this year. It's
yeah,
going to happen.
absolutely. We'll
A
do
live
it.
show. Sorry,
Do
a
it
live show at the in Drive Pink's
at the
parking lot
stadium. At
after
the
the game.
stadium. Absolutely. Absolutely, we will. We'll figure it out. I think we have a good jump on that as far as logistics and how we're going to do that. But we just got to work on Plan B.
Can we do a live? Can we just do a live webcam from the Green Lot for pre-games? Like set it up on top of the Green Lot Gang tent, looking down. Like we can do something with that too. Inter Miami podcast at Green Lot Gang. No, I'm throwing this idea out there. Just throwing it to the world.
Yeah, Inter
Oh,
Miami show at
Inter Miami show. I said Inter Miami
Greenlight
podcast. My bad.
So, but anyway, yeah, check us out, follow us wherever you get your audio feeds to, because we post the audio normally same time as the video. And keep giving us the feedback, because some of you guys were telling us, hey, do X, Y, and Z, and this would look better and this would be better, and we take that seriously, and you can see there's been improvements. So keep it coming, and please keep on supporting us.
Yeah, no, we've completely redone both our studio setups since we started.
We'll see you on the next one.